All right, I don't know a lot about this. This is a best lock housing. I'm assuming there's a best lock buried deep inside of this thing. Very heavy. There's a spinner plate on the outside of this that is probably about a quarter of an inch thick. Pretty thick, and it does work. It's a little bit sticky. I have both a control key, so that let's try the operating key first, because the control, when you get it out, it's a little hard to get back in there. It's a little sticky. You got to jiggle it. It's probably why the owner was selling it. So, like I did, it does work. There we go. It does work. So, I think it's probably just perhaps wear on the key. I've got a control key so we can pull this out. I mean, I had never seen one. I thought maybe you'd have to pick it and somehow it'd come out, you take the back off. But no, it's quite a bit more better designed than that. Again, if you can get the keys to work. Since they both malfunction, I'm almost thinking that it might be, there we go. It might be one of the pins is worn on the inside. So instead of everything coming apart, it pops right out the front. Isn't that cool? So you basically remove your key, pop out the core, put your new core in, and put everything back together. It is a 7-pinner, and I'll show you the key in just a minute. If I can get this darn thing back in there, that ought to be it right there. There we go. So, aside from the sticky keys, it's a pretty cool lock. There's what I think there's a control key, and very close to it is your operating key. So, I'm going to try to pick this. I'm going to clamp it up in the vise I can keep it focused. I have no idea if I'm going to pick it to the operating or the control, or maybe not pick it at all, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, that ought to hold it. Let's grab the operating key. I'm sure it's not pinched, but I just like to make sure all the way in and jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And hopefully that wasn't the last time that key worked. There we go. Okay, one last time. It does work. There's what your key looks like, and there's what your operating looks like. All right, let's try it. Now, it's going to be a little trouble to tension because this armor plate is, like I said, it's about a quarter an inch thick. So I'm going to use this little cheap Z-wrench for top of the keyway because my normal tensioners won't reach past all of that armor. So I'm going to slide that all the way in. And right there, I'm up against that first pin. I'm going to pull it out just a hair so it's not going to be pushing up against that first pin. I think that's about right. I'm going to slide this all the way back and no tension. I'm trying to find, okay, right there, almost the maximum depth of the pick is what I believe to be the final pin right there. So I'm going to index on him. It's going to be difficult for me to call the correct numbers because of how skewed this is. All right, I'm applying very heavy tension and I'm literally forcing these pins, which is one of my favorite techniques with best locks. Okay, if you can't get them to force, like I'm not lighting up a little bit. There we go. Now we're forcing stuff. My favorite technique actually is raking. Raking works really good on bests usually. Getting some good clicks out of this thing. I don't feel any turn on the core there. That spinner is turned slightly, but that's because of the tension wrench and the length of it. I don't think we have a fault set. I certainly didn't feel anything turn. I'm not sure if that's a tension wrench or pin 1. I think I just successfully picked the tension wrench. All right, I'm gonna have to lighten up on the tension because this guy's not cooperating like a normal best in terms of allowing yourself to be forced at high tension. A slightly lighter tension, and they do seem to be clicking a little bit better now. I'm not bending the pick quite as much. Oh, there we go. That was a nice, I felt a little bit of turn on the core there. I would say that was a pin 3, but it'd be a pure guess. Come on. Check that last one. I think he's right about there. Okay, I believe, again, I'm guessing, that was either 1 or 2. I felt a very slight turn on the core. Come on. Really getting light on the tension now. Not my favorite technique, but you do what you got to do. If what you're doing is not working, try something different. All right, let's try to rake a little bit. I think I might have overset something. So I'm trying to rake them back down. Now let's try it. Again, that was 2 or thereabouts. Okay, that was what I believe is pin 1. I did feel a turn on the core at that point. So if you could see the face of the lock, we would have a little bit of a fault set. Not a lot, but I'll take what we can get. Come on. Let me make sure here. I think pin 1 might be, I may not have picked pin 1. So hard to judge the depth here. And there we go. Wow. I tell you what, bests usually don't give me that much trouble, but this guy, see the actuator? I'll just put the pick back in there. If I can get that oriented correctly. And you can see it's turning. They don't give me that much trouble, but we had a lot of trouble judging the depth on this thing. I'm not used to picking a lock with the pick buried, all the way to there to reach the last pin. It's just, you kind of lose the leverage. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to gut it because I'd have to ruin the lock, but I do want to open it one last time, hopefully, to show you that it does indeed have a 7-pin core, if I can get it to cooperate. Come on. There it is. And I believe if I take that key out, we can just slide that lock. There we go. That's what that groove's for. Check that out. How easy is that? Anyway, it is 7 pins, but that actuator looks a little funky. Usually it's in a complete actuator. This one looks to be made out of steel. So maybe it is a special, special version of the best lock. I really don't know. Anyway, guys, there you go. The best 7-pin armored lock. Appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.